state of emergency was declared, and normalcy came.
We'll come back to that in a moment. Dr. Shinkafi, let me come to you. You may have to wear two caps tonight, security consultant and political affairs analyst. So in situations such as this, in situations like what we've witnessed in Rivers State for close to 2 years, that also degenerates into the explosion of the Trans-Niger pipeline. Now, police have also arrested 2 persons in connection with this incident. I want you to talk to us about the security implication of blowing up oil installations.
Yeah, looking at the security implication and also the economic implication, you know, Rivers State is one of the oil-producing states, and 90% of Nigerian revenue has been derived from the oil production. So for anybody to go and blow off the crude oil five, it's a serious security threat to the nation and also serious economic threat, because looking at the oil producing state is where the revenue is driving at the center, and some unscrupulous elements will now go and blow up the 5 lines in the name of politics. Is uncalled for, and it cannot be tolerated by any serious government. So, and also looking at the public safety and security is also sending a serious security danger. But on the issue of the suspension of the governor also, the action of Mr. President, some people have been saying he acted in the right direction. But looking at the constitutionality of it, Section 188 of Nigerian Constitution have been spelled out how a governor should be removed and the deputy governor. So in these circumstances, it has not aligned with the provision of Section 188. And Section 305 has clearly spelled out how Mr. President should declare a state of emergency. So what this issue needs, the political turbulence in Rivers State, what it needs is political solution. If the Mr. President wants to apply a doctrine of necessity, he has to exhaust all the political solutions. And the main architect of the political turbulence and intrigues, all the members of the public know them. Governor Pubara, member of the State House Assembly, and the FCT minister. If Mr. President should go ahead to declare state of emergency and suspend governor and suspend the members of the State House Assembly, he has breached even the right of the electorate and denying good representation in the State House Assembly. So it is only going by the provision of that Section 188. That is where the only has the power to remove a governor and his deputy. So it is undemocratic, unconstitutional. No matter how anybody will brand it, the letters of the Nigerian Constitution is very easy to interpret. It's very easy. But looking at the doctrine of necessity and the security implication, in the other round, Mr. President can act, but not the way he acted. Because the Constitution of Nigeria, 1999 Constitution, as amended, have not vested such powers to Mr. President.
All right. Thank you,
and
Dr.
going by the also judgment of the Supreme Court, both the parties, including the SWK, no matter how anybody sees it, he's also part of the crisis, the political crisis in Rivers State. Nobody will take it away from members of the public. So this is the truth of the matter. Apex Court of the law have decided, have evaluated the cases. All the appeal before the Supreme Court, 8 appeals were consolidated, and the decision was delivered. So all the parties should submit themselves to the rule of law.
All right. Thank you. I'll come back to you. So I'm sure you may want to disagree with Dr. Shinkafi. He has said the president's action violates, breaches the electorate's, the authority of the electorate. So, I mean, he also said breach the rights of the electorate, just to be very clear. He says it is undemocratic and unconstitutional. You're lawyers, Section 188. What does it say?
The law that made provisions to enhance the practice of democracy. Also made provisions that allow certain actions that must sound undemocratic, but calculated and meant to further strengthen democracy. What will you say was happening in Rivers State before this action? What is the intention of the lawmakers? Is it that we should have allowed what is happening in Rivers State to continue? That is why we have sections like 305. I didn't see where the president has violated section 305.
So he's saying the president did not explore all options available to him.
No, to me, I beg to disagree in totality, and I don't know where Mr. Shinkafi might be picking his evidence from. The evidence is quite clear. There were lots of meetings before now in resolving this imbroglio amongst parties. And it's crystal clear. It was until the Supreme Court judgment. Go and look at the historical fact. Yes, there was a divided house. Mr. President called both parties at one end or the other, but beneficiaries of this crisis wouldn't have wanted this crisis to get ill easily. And Mr. President foresaw the danger, especially when it got to the level. And for a security expert, you need to apply the immediate means of rescue and immediate solution. It has already gotten to the crescendo whereby the militants are already declared war already in Rivers State as a result of the impeachment. And the process of impeachment was already imminent. In fact, if not for the salvage, I even believe that maybe Mr. President must have even consulted with the governor to save the governor's head. Because if the governor had been removed on the premise of the judgment of the Supreme Court, nothing. Let the governor go from now to Supreme Court. He had lost his position.
But really,
I want to believe that Mr. President acted reasonably in compliance with the rule of law to ensure that within the frame of the person appointed, who is a very clear-headed retired military officer, who understands the game, that his duty was to restore peace and order. And I believe the stakeholder he meant will not be more far off from the State House of Assembly members, the governor. Everybody will keep to realize how far can we get peace for the good, for the benefit of the Rivers people. Okay. Do you know what Mr. President just made us understand? He said the continuity of this crisis have impeded Rivers people from gaining dividend of democracy. And truthfully, we cannot continue under that premise. We've advised, yes, the crisis must have started with the divided house. At one particular point in time, I raised my support that the fact that those House of Assembly members left the PDP for APC, they should vacate their seat. But as the momentum grows higher, PDP crisis was shown. So definitely, there was nothing was heard, but at the same time, reasoning is just the only missing thing that allowed everybody to get to this fire point.
So Daniel, now, this is for you. Does the Rivers House of Assembly have any authority to challenge or ratify this decision? If yes, what legal argument can Governor Fubara now suspended or his deputy present to challenge their suspension?
I gathered that the Speaker of the Rivers State House of Assembly have accepted this, so I heard. The governor, practically, he has accepted it. I watched the program he led. Like my colleague said, my colleague in the studio have said, what was the immediate situation before this proclamation? The 27 members were planning to impeach the governor. The other members were planning to impeach the Speaker of the House of State House, headed by the heading the 27 members. So yes, so you see, that was going on. The Supreme Court have said, go and represent your budget. And the governor showed us in video, he attempted to go to the State House to present. He was locked out deliberately. So you see, the crisis was continuously lingering. So right now, actors, gladiators, stakeholders, political actors in Rivers State, we have the time to be realistic and to put Rivers State first and see how they can quickly resolve this. The Elders Council of Rivers State will play a big role here. And like my colleague said, I know the Rear Admiral, the sole administrator, is a very humble man. Before, when he was the Chief of Naval Staff, I've had encounters with him. I presented him as a very, very humble man. The same thing with the current Attorney General, accessible and humble. So I am not saying this to impress them, but that is the truth. I've had personal experiences. So you see, the Rivers State officially cannot take any action. We don't need them to ratify this. Section 305 has subsections that suggest that the state can ask that a state of emergency be proclaimed. But the president, under other subsections of 305 of the Constitution, also have the power when the governor of the state or when the state have not made that request, all the power to do what the president has just done. So back to your questions, they cannot ratify this, and there is nothing they can do. They just have to comply. The best thing they have to do now is sit down, realistically, judge on this, and see how the issue can be resolved.
All right, gentlemen, let's take a break, and when we come back, we'll expand this conversation. Please stay with us, everyone.